My name is Crystal Townsend. I am a graduate student in the field of social work at Western Kentucky University. I am creating this YouTube video today to discuss Senate Bill 6 and to appeal to my Senator Mike Wilson and Representatives Jody Richards, Johnny Bell, and Jim DeCesare to talk about some pros and cons of Senate Bill 6 and how I would vote if I were in their shoes. So starting off, I want everyone to have a clear idea about what Senate Bill 6 actually has to do with. It's actually a bill built to address immigration and concerns that people have with immigrants in Kentucky who do not have legal citizenship. This bill was introduced to the Senate in 2011. It passed with, the majority, but later died in the House the same year. However, I would still think it's important to address this bill, as it's very likely, with all the attention focused on immigration lately, that it will be tried to be passed again, maybe with amendments, but still with the same basic concept. First, I want to give you guys just a little overview of the bill. It's got several parts, most of which I'll be referring to are at the top of this PowerPoint. The pieces that I'll be referring to include the prevention of policies, regulations, or laws that restrict the enforcement of federal immigration laws, the piece that allows that with probable cause and reasonable suspicion that the immigration status of an individual may be determined, and the piece that involves law enforcement officers brought into legal action being protected from hurt, loss, or action. The bill also includes penalties for the smuggling of immigrants who are without legal citizenship. This has a lot of similarities to the Arizona Bill 1070, which was enacted not long ago and was very controversial. So I would like to go ahead and discuss some of the pros and cons. This is just kind of an overview. It gives you an idea of what the bill's talking about and some of the things that it would like to put into place. First pro that many people would see in this bill is that it would be protecting American jobs.
Individuals who are in Kentucky and do not have legal citizenship there would be penalties for hiring these people. However, what I think a lot of people don't consider is that a lot of the problem is not that there are no jobs, period. A lot of individuals are underemployed or can't afford to take these low-paying jobs. And when these individuals come in, they're doing a lot of jobs that we would not normally, as Americans, as graduates of maybe four-year universities or associate's degree or high school graduates even, would be overqualified to take. So I think that needs to be something that is kept in consideration. Another pro that many individuals would associate with the enforcement of laws relating to individuals who are in the state of Kentucky or the country illegally involves crime reduction. Many times, those who are in Kentucky and don't have legal citizenship are associated with a higher crime rate. They're associated with crime. However, 75% of 41 people, according to an article in Kentucky.com, 75% of 41 people who were deported, they weren't convicted of any crime, or they were convicted of a minor crime. So these individuals spend time and money on arresting and deporting, and it does cost money. May be contributing members of society, parents, those who are working and taking their taking their income and spending it at American stores. That would be a negative side effect of this, and doesn't necessarily mean that when these laws are enforced that there will be crime reduction. Some other things that I would like to address that are cons to Senate Bill 6 include the destruction of families. I am a Kentucky State social worker in child protection, and I see this all the time. Individuals who have not committed a crime or have committed a minor crime end up being deported because they do not have documentation to prove that they are legal citizens. This results in the destruction of families. One or both parents ends up getting deported, and then further down you see that I listed the price of foster care. It could leave these children orphans if both of their parents end up being deported, or if one of their parents ends up being deported and they're a single parent. then the state has to pay money to keep these kids in care and feed them and provide medical care for who knows how long. We have to take into consideration the price of prison. How much can we afford to fill our prisons even more with people who may not have had any history of violent crime or any crime for that matter? The con of there being a lack of trust in the community. How are we supposed to, enforce that these individuals will report if something happens, if there's a violent crime committed, if they think that they're in constant fear, they think that they're going to be deported or are in constant fear of deportation? How are we going to ensure that they get their children's needs met who may be American citizens if they're afraid to take their baby to the hospital for fear of being deported? So those are things that we need to think about when voting for this bill or deciding what direction to vote for this bill. In conclusion, what way am I asking you guys to vote? I'm voting to oppose Senate Bill 6, and I would encourage you to do the same. There are just so many cons and so many issues associated with this bill in terms of human rights, and it just needs to be shut down. There are other ways to address these issues without creating all of these other issues in the midst of this. So I would encourage you, again, as a voting member of the community, to oppose Senate Bill 6. Thank you.